Good morning. How is everybody doing on this fantastic morning? We're going to take a look at Bitcoin this morning and a few other FX pairs trying to find a setup before the New York Open. We do have a very, very important meeting tomorrow in the Fed rate decision. Let me see if I can pull that up briefly. Bright screen. That will be tomorrow. Forecast is 0.5%. We're looking at a 25% or 25 point basis hike or basis points rate hike is what we're looking for. That number will come out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, at 2:30 after you get the minutes, you will have the press conference. So be very careful before taking any entries at 2 or after 2 and before 2:30. So what we're looking for is sideways price action. Now, in Saturday's video, I basically said that I was looking for potential, or I was looking for price to move higher, and then we were going to look to potentially sell into that move. We did get a little bit of a spike yesterday, but overnight, that thing has been sold right back into. You can see the madness here on the weekly, what is transpiring. So if I just throw up these two levels right here, you have a weekly demand zone, and then you have weekly support. Right there, those two levels are still holding. And of course, last night and into yesterday, you can see just how beautifully price traded at the weekly support zone, not being able to even close an hourly candle under there. Then you get this nice little push higher, right? And then you come in, and that's when you tested weekly demand, got a bounce. But you are in a sideways market and a longer term downtrend. So price, usually when you get these pops, boom, it goes right back to where it come from. And you can see by stretching this chart out that this pop is essentially nothing, right? Nothing compared to what we seen 2 weeks ago. And then even what we had last week, even though it was a smaller bounce, but still yet, nonetheless, you have that going on. Now, you're going to start to see people posting stuff like this. I don't really care what he says. I want to show you the chart. So this is just a Wyckoff model drawing, right? And you can see how price looks almost exactly like this drawing. This right here where it says number one start, that should not be accumulation. That should say distribution phase. Your accumulation phase starts at the bottom of the ranges. The top of the ranges would be your distribution. But you can see right now that the Uber bulls are still looking for this to be the bottom. And they could be right. I always have to make sure you understand that nobody knows what price is ever going to do. It does look like I know what price is going to do sometimes when I execute fantastic entries, but I don't. I never know if a trade is going to work or not. All right. So it's, it would be nice if I did. I'd be a trillionaire, but I don't. So we have to manage our risk when we take these entries. This channel is designed for one specific purpose, and that's to show you where you should be looking to take those trades, not if you're going to be a profitable trader or not. I have no clue what you're going to do in your future, but what I can help you with is identifying high probable areas to enter those trades. So basically, after you got the bounce, you traded up to you traded up to an hourly supply zone. I mean, right there, almost a flawless, perfect test. That price is $39,006.42. And the high of this candle is $39,906.39. So it's literally 3 cents off of a 6-digit asset. That is pretty damn close as to being perfect, right? And that shows you right there that these levels have meaning. The market respects them for whatever reason, whatever definition or you would like to put behind why the market does, go ahead. But learning how to find these areas can absolutely help you in your trading. So right now you're bouncing in between weekly support and a near-term intraday level of supply. Up here is technically where I want to see price get to. This is the yearly open. If, we get a nasty spike out of here, I would love to see these two swing highs get liquidated before your next initial move lower. If you continue higher out of this region, then we'll trade it to the upside. But as of right now, what you should be doing, if you are trying to trade this chop, you are looking to take buying opportunities down under 37K. So at daily support, if you will, you can see here that this is weekly support, but it is also daily support. Now, what we did yesterday, we have another daily support that is higher right here. You can see this trap. Let me just get rid of all this stuff. You can see this near-term trap. So that would be support, right? Because you closed higher than this. So it's a new support zone. Price, oh, that's the wrong one. Price traded down to it, closed below it. Right here, this is the trap. The next candle takes out the low, then goes higher. So anybody that got short yesterday is stuck. More than likely, if it's retail, they're stopped out, right? But this model is going sideways. So the two prices that you're going to be looking for on Bitcoin, if you are bullish, is $38,815.56 and $37,994.00. So this is going to be your new demand zone. So basically, you have to see what this happens today. Like, is this going to close above or below? So the way you can do this is you can watch it on the hourly time frame. You do have hourly supply here as well. Lines up beautifully with that level as demand. So if you start closing hourly candles above $38,815, then you can wait for a support to be formed there and potentially look for bullish entries. Like I said, you're in a longer term downtrend and a choppy sideways action. So be very careful. Make sure your risk is mitigated because nothing is getting continuation, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Last Saturday we took a trade. It was a fantastic one, but there was no downside continuation. After the run lower, you got this. So when price isn't continuing either direction, that's the definition of a choppy sideways market. So you won't be looking for new all-time highs. If you were to take that bullish position, you would simply be targeting today's high. All right. Unfortunately, that's all the way up here. So you're trading at the low of day right now. You are trading at the low of day. So what we want to see, if we want to see bullish continuation based off yesterday's price action alone, then we want to see $38,815 hold as a daily closing basis. We will not know if this is going to hold or not until this evening, but we can take trades based upon what we think may occur. So we're going to watch to see if price gets back above $38,815. And if it does, we're going to wait for a support to be formed there. If that occurs, we can look for higher prices. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you guys for being here. As always, thoughts on yesterday's bullish engulfing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. It is indeed a bullish engulfing candle, and it did indeed come after a trap. Those are typically bullish signals, for sure. Absolutely, 100%. You can trade this signal every time it happens. You will not make money every time it happens, though, because everything works in trading, just not all the time. And that's where new traders get into trouble. They assume it's going to work because people like myself say it will. Nope. We're going to watch and see if daily demand holds. In order for that to occur, price has got to get back above that level, and then it needs to find that level as support, or at the very least, it needs to form hourly support up, around, or close by this price, as that will be our entry. And I mean, as far as looking for targets, like I said, today's high is way up there. So if you were to do something like this, and that's going to be a very wide stop, you will see that if you were to do that, you would barely get a 1.5 to 1 risk to reward out of it if you were to use this swing low as your stop loss, and that is only, of course, after price starts trading back above 38,000 bucks. You would have something that looks like that. So I don't like to do that, right? I mean, I don't really want to go into a position with a 1 or 2% loss if I'm only going to be able to make 1%. There is a supply zone up there, but this candle is big in range, so I don't like big range candles for supply zones. I like the smaller ones. So we have that too. Yesterday, Jay Bradley took a trade. It was a fantastic trade on USD CAD, and he ran into this situation where his trade was working flawlessly until you got up to a supply zone. Then it reversed in his face. So typically, you want to start to scale out when you get into areas like that. So then your trade is looking a lot less, you know what I mean, a lot less better. Yeah, so it's going to be up to you whether you take it or not. Can we get more of a spike after tomorrow's news? Yeah. What I'm assuming will probably transpire is I do like it as far as if it can get back above that for bullish entries. And then maybe we can get lucky enough to where we do get a nice trade out of it and we get a nice risk to reward with it. Right now, the way it's setting, I do not like the risk to reward. If you were going to ask me why not just buy it down here, well, that's because while you're under the daily demand, it's a lot less likely to work out, simply put. And that's because you're below daily demand. We don't want to do that. We want to put the odds of success in our favor. And the way we can do that is we can wait for price to get back up there. If you want to take an entry right now or down here, then watch $38,452. Just understand that you are buying the low of day or close to it, which is a good trade if you end up going up and making a new high of day, right? But this early in the morning is the low even in. So like 8 o'clock comes, 9 o'clock, the New York session open at 8, you get a spike down there, runs the stops, then you get the move higher, right? So that's what we're going to wait on because, you know, that was a pretty aggressive move to the downside. Nice little spike up, took, you know, nice long day, but it's getting sold into. Now, if you take a Fibonacci retracement from this daily range, you can see that you are above the 618 currently, but you were under it. So we'll see what happens. Now, this could be a trap, right? You didn't take out the low of it, but you did close an hourly below the 618 retracement. And that, you know, that's a way to trade. Some people use these Fibonacci's like that. They're looking for midpoints or 618 retracements of the daily range to get long. And you can see that you currently are still respecting that aspect. So there's a few things that you could take a bullish entry here. All right. But just make sure you mind your downside risk, because you have not gotten continuation since you've been in this chop. And you've been in this chop all week. Well, I mean, you've been inside of a longer term choppy range for 4 weeks. All right. 4 weeks you've been chopping sideways. So we'll see what happens. It does look as if, though, that the weekly support wants to hold. Every time you've gotten a bullish spike, you have failed, but who's to say you won't finally get that push higher to liquidate these swing highs? That is the ultimate target. Once we get up there, we will be looking for price to then roll over and make that capitulation move to the downside, like Bitcoin has done its entire history. Every single time you've had a bull market phase, you have had a slow grind at the end of the bear market and then a stab lower that ultimately capitulates everybody, because you get trading sideways for so long, everybody assumes the low is in. Okay? They did it over here. I can remember it like it was yesterday. So many charts being posted on Twitter. So many charts being posted on TradingView. Just so many charts being posted everywhere that Bitcoin was going to go up and make $500 million just as soon as it broke out of this pattern, this wedge, this whatever. Back then, they were still not calling this a bear market. Still. And then you had that capitulation move lower. And look how long it took once you initially broke down before you got back to 6K. November 2018, May 2019. So 6 months you traded sideways and inside of that capitulation move. That's what we're looking for, right? And it takes a lot of time. These things do not play out daily. So we'll wait for this range to get liquidated both directions. Then we'll look to be a buyer on Bitcoin. And I mean, to be honest with you, once that occurs, if it wants to get down below 2021's low, which is what I'm looking for because there is a gap down there to fill, then we'll look to be a buyer. We'll be looking to buy that. Regardless of what the Fed says tomorrow. All right, regardless of what the Fed says tomorrow. Whatever happens tomorrow is going to tell us what we're going to be looking for in the next several weeks. All right, so this capitulation sideways move could simply be traders waiting for that before they decide to move money in their portfolio, whether it's buying more Bitcoin or going ahead and selling. Either way, I would love to see that yearly open test. We just have not gotten it yet, and we were so close to it. It just looks sketch to me. It definitely looks a little bit sus. I mean, these levels typically get tested, and you can see, I mean, since you broke down from it, you've not been back to test it, even though you came very, very close. So it looks to me like it's just setting people up, right? The next time you get up there, people are going to look to short it. We're going to look to short it as well, but we want to see it liquidate that region and then start to reject. Then we'll look to short it. The problem with shorting bullish price action is you don't know if it's ever going to stop. You just do not know if it's ever going to stop. So let me get over here on KuCoin. So what I have here is Luna. Luna has made new all-time highs in a bear market. Luna had come off. Let's see how far it came off. I'm pretty sure it was like 50%, close to it. What is going on? Well, if I can learn how to use the charting software. Here we go. 55% from the all-time high to the swing low. So that is bear market territory in the traditional sense, right? If you Google what is a bear market, you're going to get something that says 20% off the all-time highs or 20% off the near-term highs is considered a bear market. That is in the indice world, stock market world, your ETFs and stuff. Typically, you can get 40% corrections in a massively bearish market or a massively bullish market in crypto. We've seen 40% drifts on Bitcoin and then price just continues to skyrocket. So you had a 55% fall on Luna, instant, just straight back up. It only took a couple days to get up there, like a week, and you're up here, sideways, new all-time high. Now you've dropped. We did take a short position on it Sunday. We had a members live stream only, Patreon and members only, and we were discussing taking this short on this day, and it did work. Now, since that position has been stopped out, the remainder of it, but that's what we were looking for on this day right here. And it had nothing to do with that trend line. We were looking at hourly res, which was here. And then you also had an hourly supply zone there. So we took this short. Once we made a new low of day, we took our profits, moved our stops to break even. And the next day we were stopped out. And since you've seen higher prices. So this is what you would want to see hold if the near-term trend was going to stay bearish. When I say near-term, I physically mean like the last 3-4 days. You are not bearish. This asset is bullish. It is the only asset on the KuCoin exchange as far as on the futures side, because this is a futures contract that is bullish. It is the only one. Everything else has fallen 40, 50%. And those are the ones that are like the best ones. Like Atom is nowhere near as bearish as the rest of your crypto market. This one, and there's like two more. But everything else is bearish. The crypto market as a whole is bearish. You've lost several trillion dollars off the overall crypto market cap. That is bearish. All right, so what you can look for on Luna, since this would have been your downtrend, you would have wanted to short, looking for price to head lower until you've broken out back above that descending trend line. Now, can price go up a little higher and then roll over again? Yeah, it absolutely can. But since you're bullish, you're probably wanting to be looking for bullish entries. The whole thing for me is that if Bitcoin is bearish, and we know it is because it has fallen 55%, and it's in a near-term downtrend for weeks. The last 4 months, you've printed bearish candles. So why is this thing all of a sudden extraordinarily bullish? I looked up what I could find on the asset and didn't see any reason whatsoever for this thing to continue to be so bullish. And then once you make a new all-time high, you fall from it. So let's see if this is going to be a near-term top on Luna, if we're looking for a longer-term bear market to proceed. If so, then this may be one of the ones that you want to look for shorting opportunities on. But with that being said, the last time we had a big bear market on Bitcoin, Chainlink was bullish the entire time. So is Luna going to be like Chainlink was back in 17, 18? Bitcoin and every other crypto was bearish except Chainlink. Chainlink kept making new highs, so Luna might be, just because everything else is bearish does not mean it has to be. But if it is going to be bearish, I like it as one of my most favorite shorting opportunities. So we'll wait and see if the high holds. As of right now, there's no near-term levels to go by, so just go by your longer-term levels. K4 Liberty, thank you for the super chat, my friend. You said the best way to predict your future is to create it. And Abraham Lincoln said that. It's a fantastic quote. It is the truth. It is the truth. You have the power to do such things. You can be happy when you shouldn't be. You have the power. You can, happiness, feelings, all that stuff, it's mindset. It's all mindset. You can change your life, guys. All right, so thank you once again for the super chat. You can see here that I don't have any daily levels to look at, like as far as from this to there. All right, so basically what I do in these situations, let me figure out what's going on here. So since I don't have anything on the daily, what I can do is I can watch this price, which will be daily supply if we get that test. Now, we also discussed this as well in that live stream. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch to see if price can get up here and then reject. The reason being is because everybody got short here, and now they're stuck. With yesterday's close, these people that got short on these previous 2 days, they're stuck if they have not exited their positions. So you can see another higher run. If price tests this and fails, then maybe you can look to take that short entry. A lot of people took it based on the wick, and you can see how price respected it really nicely. I mean, it was a fantastic opportunity to go short, and it worked twice. But those people, if they didn't get stopped out, they're still in it, they're stuck. And this day right here is a corrective phase. So there's your impulse, here's your correction. You got to find somewhere to find support. Then you may get another impulse. If you do take this bullishly, target this zone. Take profits there. Move your stop to break even because it could continue on to make new all-time highs. But you want to get the majority of your risk off in profits while you have them at a daily supply zone, because price could stay there for a couple days before it finally rolls over or finally breaks out. But Luna is on the top of everybody's watch list because of what it's doing. I just don't like buying assets at all-time highs. And if you stretch this chart out, you can see this thing is up big. It was 12 cents down here. 12 cents It is trading at 99 bucks. That is a massive, massive gain. Huge. You're talking thousands and thousands of percents. Yeah, so it's up big. Really, really big. All right, so that's that. Let's go look at the US dollar and get some FX pairs going here this morning, because we know on Bitcoin we're looking for that to get bullish. We had a nice bullish day on the dollar, and then 2 days of retracement. Today you're trading, well, nope, you broke down outside of yesterday's low. So here's the thing on the dollar. I'm expecting sideways chop until 2:30 tomorrow. So now that you cleared out yesterday's low on the dollar, does it go up or does it stay sideways for the next, 24 hours or so? So what I'm saying is you took out the low of yesterday. If you are going to go up, since you did take out the low, then watch hourly support. The way you can do that would be on Euro USD and the exact opposite. But we must see, did the Euro USD take out yesterday's high? It did. And you are trading above it. So here was yesterday's high. You're trading above it. So I don't like to short stuff when it's doing this. This is a lot bigger and better than the dollar. The dollar just barely took out the previous day's low. This is taking out the previous day's high by a long shot. And it is trying to hold support above it as well. So just be careful out there today, guys. I don't see anything I love, and especially knowing that tomorrow is going to be a high risk news event, it's just not really attractive to me. As far as direction, obviously this thing is in a near-term downtrend and a long-term downtrend. It's been moving lower since May 2021. So almost a year, this thing has been trending lower. So, stick with the trend. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. You can see down here, this thing did find support, and you are getting that bullish pop. So there's going to be resistance. If you're bullish, you're going to want to take profits up in that region. But we're going to watch it to see if this thing breaks down. 3 hours of accumulation or distribution, whatever you want to call it, after you take out the previous day's high, it doesn't look bearish. To me, the dollar looks like it could potentially be bullish, but this does not look bearish. So we'll have to wait and see if it breaks down back below that high, and then we'll see if resistance sets. What I'm looking for is just sideways chop all the way up until 2:30. Pound dollar, same scenario, but it has not taken out its previous day's high. So if you are going to be bearish on the dollar, and you want to be bullish on the euro, then perhaps this asset is better suited for that move. Because like I just said, yesterday's high is still intact on this one. So watch support on pound dollar, and you're targeting today's high. That will be your first target, secondary target, and then your third or tertiary target would simply be yesterday's high. So we'll see if this is what's going to happen. So if I am looking for that to play out, I would probably use this asset to do it, because it hasn't taken out yesterday's high yet. So the move hasn't happened. Obviously, you have support there. Your open of the day is going to be much, much lower. All the way down here is the open for today's range. So you're bullish. You're looking for bullish entries. Watch one spot 30310. And once again, target today's high first. Secondary target will be resistance, which is this. And your tertiary target will be that. So you should have very little of a position left if it does indeed continue to skyrocket up there. And that's a pretty big move. From where price is currently, you're looking at about 40 pips. The pound can do 40 pips in a day, easily. How much is it up right now, though? That's a good question. Okay, so it's up 0.28%. So you still have room to go to the bullish side. So we'll probably watch pound today. It's probably going to be my number one Forex pair to watch. Oh, good cold water, man. Love it. So good. All right, pound yen. Pound yen respecting an old region right there. Fantastic. Let's go see what this is. Nothing. All right, so did I make it on a... Nope, still nothing. So I guess it's just old hourly res. You can see price respected it here. That was a good place to bounce. Now you're right back in it, and you come there with the quickness. So this would lead me to believe that the yen is strong today. Let's go see if the yen is strong today. It's just getting a nice intraday spike. So that's why you're seeing downside on your yen pairs. We were watching, or I was trying to get short the pound yen the other day, and that trade got stopped out over the weekend when it opened Monday. And this thing yesterday, I was looking for short side entries. And you can see that it just chopped around all day and then finally made that move. But after, I had not taken a position on it. And now you can see that it is moving lower. So depending on how strong Aussie is today, and you can find that simply by going to finviz.com. I'm not being paid by them to say. It's just a free site to show you the strength of the Forex market. All right, so let's see. We could do something like this. Let's just go look at it real quick. I'll just go ahead and pull it up. So here is your strength meter for your currencies. Your currencies are euro is the strongest on the day. CAD is the weakest on the day. So this says that Japanese yen is strong, so it's moving up. It was weak. It's been very weak lately, so you can see that it is starting to get a little bit of momentum going. Aussie is just beside of it, so this would not make it very attractive to look for an actual trade. But if you are, you will be looking for short side sets. Unfortunately, there's no real place that I love about it. It's already made that move. So we'll watch pound dollar for the move. Let's go back over here to pound yen. Watch pound dollar for long side entries. Pound yen is finding support, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go over here, pound CAD. Canadian dollar has been crazy lately. What a trade this was. Just straight down for days and days and days. Boom. Massive move lower. So now we're going to keep this unwatched, but we're not interested in trading it just yet. We're going to see if this thing finds resistance again and continues that trend to the downside. If it does, we'll be looking to short it. Another one that had a massive move was Euro Aussie. Massive move to the downside. You can see that it is starting to get that strength now that Euro is strengthening it a little bit and Aussie is weakening a little bit. So stagflation might be over. If stagflation is over, Aussie yen is my favorite pair to look for shorts. So going over here to the JXY, give us an idea of what this thing looks like. You can see just how weak it was. Now this thing doesn't trade until 8 a.m. So it's going to gap up today. When it opens at 8, this will be gapping higher. That's why I put the futures on there, because I don't like looking at gaps. So going back over to the futures. These are your currency futures if you want to look at them or put them on your chart somewhere. It's just these, right? 6S1 exclamation, 6E1 exclamation, yada yada. So 6J1 exclamation would be your Japanese yen. Basically what this is it's like trading versus the dollar. This is the inverse chart of the USD JPY essentially, right? But it just shows you, because it's a futures, it trades overnight. So you do still get gaps because it's a very illiquid asset, but essentially you do get it. You do get to see what is going on. So today, even though you're getting a spike, it's not a big daily range. Just to get up to yesterday's open, you've got room to go, right? So let's go over here and look. Where is that? Right there. So will it get up there? I have no clue. You can see the obvious trend. So this spike, just because it's spiking now, does not mean we're going to see that. But if stagflation is over and we are going to be in a risk-off scenario, then the Japanese yen may finally start to get that bounce that we've been looking for all year. Since last year, we've been looking for this thing to get bullish, but it just didn't. because of stagflation. So keep an eye on it. I still don't like it bullish, but we'll keep an eye on it. If it wants to get bullish, we will absolutely look to take that. SPX, what is it doing? Still having those continuation a little bit to the lower side of things. Here's your weekly. I mean, it's continuing lower. You are into weekly support right now. This is the support zone. The reason I extended this level out to the left is just so that way you can see that even in the past, for some reason, 41.52.90 is an area that price is respecting. It definitely is. And it is respecting it again. You can see 3 weeks we have tested this price. And this weekly range is smaller than last week's range, and you have taken out last week's low. So, are you going to get bearish continuation or not? That's last week's low right there, and you can see you just took it out right now. So, is it going to trade higher? I would say probably. I would almost assume that you're probably going to see a bounce today on this, since you did take out last week's low. If you are going to be bullish on tomorrow's print, you've already liquidated last week. But if you're going to be bearish, then this level will fall, and it will fall hard. So just be careful out there if you're trying to pick the bottom of these markets, especially today and tomorrow. Probably won't do a lot. If pound dollar doesn't set up absolutely flawlessly, I'm not even going to take it. So we're going to keep an eye on it. I do not want to see an hour close below that. And then we can look for a new daily high potentially. What else is there? Let's go look at New Zealand. Well, let's look at USD CAD. USD CAD finally, nope, still trading inside of the longer term range. This is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The reason it looks like this is because you've had dollar strength and Canadian dollar strength. When you have two strong assets, they fight with one another, trying to basically break out. But the longer they stay in a range, the bigger the breakout will be. So here's Japanese yen USD. It's already made that breakout. Same scenario. This is a daily chart. So you can see you've been essentially trading sideways on the USD JPY since October last year. Since we finally heard the Fed say, yeah, we're going to raise interest rates. We're going to look to do it. Once we finally had that announcement, look how this thing just traded sideways, liquidating both sides of the market. Then you liquidated the high, but you didn't liquidate the lows this time. Sideways breakout. That breakout is legit. If the yen strengthens, then will this fall? Yeah, probably. If it becomes a risk-off environment, the Japanese yen can get very, very strong. We have seen this thing move before. I mean, just look at that. That is insane amount of movement. Big time. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely bullish, and the dollar still is bullish. In risk-off environments, the dollar can stay bullish. So I think you have a better scenario in USD CAD if you are looking for dollar breakouts. This one is primed and ready. Primed and ready. It was very, very bearish with the dollar, but you have found a near-term bottom, and you have been range-bound inside of it. So this essentially was the breakout here, but it got sold back into this range. And that is essentially a supply zone. And you can see how beautifully it stopped it again there. But with reaching up here like this, we're going to look for bullish entries. Yesterday, Jay Bradley was trying to get long. Like I said, this thing screwed with him a little bit, stopped him out. This was his move right here. This was what I was talking about. So he got long down here, was looking for a new high of day, which would have occurred if we got above these wicks, but it traded right into supply and reversed. Stopped him out, break even. Then you traded sideways, and then you got the move. So it's difficult to trade when price does this. There's no joke. But his directional bias was right. Bullish. Bullish. So yeah, we're going to continue to be bullish on this, and it's priming up, getting ready for a nice breakout. Longer term targets of 1.29010. But like I'm saying, if it does indeed get the breakout, it can rip for multiple days in a row because it will be a huge, huge squeeze. So we're going to look for this to go higher. We're going to look for entries. Obviously, today there isn't one. You're trading at the high of day. There's no entry there. If you want to watch this level down here for a potential pullback, then watch that level for that support right here. 1.28415. If this holds as support, then we'll look for bullish entries, but it won't be today. It'll probably be into tomorrow and Friday, or Thursday and Friday. You got another support region right down here that you can watch for this bullish move. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else on FX. Let's go look at New Zealand. Just go ahead and get it over with. Let's go. I have to go over here. New Zealand dollar. Where are you at? There you are. So let's go out to the daily. Get our near-term trend direction down. So it's bearish. So what you did, you liquidated the top end of price, and then you ran lower. Here was where all the liquidity was for a long time. So this was the last time you were trading at that region, November the 24th. So here was the high set in. You just liquidated that, and you can see what price is doing now. You are moving lower. So this is a bearish trend. Was in sideways chop for a long time, but it does look like it is trending to the downside. So we'll continue to look for short side entries on it. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing real crazy going on. Let's see what it would look like if we did something like this. Yeah, I don't like that. New Zealand's not my favorite pair or favorite asset to trade because it's very wicky. Wicky. So we'll keep an eye on it though. Longer term, it's bearish. If you want to look at this as being a near-term trend reversal and you think it's going to be bullish, well then wait for support, right? Because I don't know where it's going to go. I let price be the judge of that. Right now you got a near-term 4-hour support put in there coming off of a near-term downtrend. So look for resistance. You're not going to be able to find a trap here because this hourly candle was just so big in range. But you did close above ever so slightly. You did close above your nearest resistance intraday. There. You have pulled back some, but it does look like it's trying to find support. Where would that support be? Well, we can watch an old supply zone and see if that level holds its price or holds its support. So if you want to get bullish on this, if you think it's going to go up, make a new high of day. You've already made a high of day. So if you think you're going to make another high of day, then watch for support in that area that I would watch would be 0.67390. That would be where I'd want to take that bullish entry. But I wouldn't. Like, I'm not trading this. I'm bearish on this. If anything, I'll wait for price to get back up into here and look for short side entries. I'm not going to short the lows or while it's forming support. Definitely not. So I don't know if something happened to the chat, but it just essentially stopped. Let me pop it out. Just bear with me. No, it hasn't. It's the same. All right. So let me see here. Real quick, I'll answer some of these questions as it is getting close to the time to wrap it up. Looks like it's wedging up in the worst headline FUD ever. Yes, it is. Bitcoin is in, if you're talking about Bitcoin, it is in a longer term wedge pattern. Yes, almost like a bear flag. I mean, it is a bear flag essentially, but oh, I meant to hit that and then go over there. Close above 43 would be short-term bullish. Yes, for me. So, yeah, that's your yearly opening range. Oh, so that's 46, sorry. If you get up here and you're closing dailies, then I think that's more bullish than bearish. If you like just trade sideways up here for multiple days and then you start rolling over, then it's going to look more bearish again. And price doesn't have to go up there. I thought it would be tested here and it didn't. Then I thought it would again there and it didn't. So now you do have almost a double top up here. So there is a ton of liquidity setting up there. And there might be enough liquidity setting up here to force the market back lower to get this other expansion phase. So like if you look at it as a longer term pattern, this is your expansion phase, this is your corrective phase, and your next expansion phase would, give you a similar move in that size, lower. I did talk about it on Saturday's video and made the measured move and everything. It puts you down at around 22K. Alex agrees it's going to struggle at the yearly open. Good morning, Jay Bradley. Thoughts on yesterday's bullish engulfing? We discussed that. Awesome. You are welcome, K4 Liberty. Thank you for being here and supporting me. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of you guys. Could you take a look at Euro NZD? Yeah. We looked at Euro Aussie. We might as well go look at Euro NZD. This is disgusting. I mean, the Euro just got extremely weak, and the Kiwi was not. Aussie was strong, and so is this. I mean, that's absolutely disgusting. Fantastic move lower. Looking at it in hindsight, it was such an easy trade to take too. But that's the problem with trading. It's easy to see what you should have done. So what are you looking for exactly on Euro New Zealand? It looks like you penetrated a longer term area. No, it's just an old region of resistance right there. So it's just an old resistance level that finally got broke out. That's acting as support once again. Since you did have such a massive move lower, I mean, that's big, and it wasn't very long. This 1 weekly range right here is insane in size. Absolutely insane. Let's see where the midpoint of that is. So you're almost at the midpoint of this weekly range. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I would be looking for the short side to continue, but that's just me. It's just because that's like pretty much the trend of this. So watch for resistance, but since it was so brutally bearish, you don't have any daily levels to watch until you get up to here. And that's 166,842, 166,919. That could be an area where price is reaching for. Or once again, it could just roll over where it's at. Because I'm sure there's intraday levels in that. And intraday levels will and can cause price to reverse. You do have an intraday hourly level coming up real soon. Old support there. Well, it's a 4-hour. But nevertheless, I mean, that's where you found support. So it could potentially be resistance again. And if so, you're looking for something similar to this. Not that big or that fast, but something similar. But you first need to find that resistance. You first have to. You can't just start shorting these candles where it is because, A, it's been strong this week and last week. But what you can wait for is you can wait for resistance to be formed, which it has not found yet, and then potentially look to short that. But right now, there's just nothing to do on it. There's no trade to take simply because it is moving higher. If you're trying to be bullish on it, then you need it to pull back into support. And there it stutter stepped for 8 hours. There's the first attempt. Once you got to it, you stutter stepped a little bit, and then you traded back into it, then you left. So that would be potentially where you may find support if you're looking for bullish entries. But as far as today, there's nothing to do. You're trading as an inside 4-hour candle right now. It just got beat up. So I'm assuming this is just nothing more than a dead cat bounce. Euro's been bearish for a year though. So maybe the bearish trend could be over. I doubt it, but we'll see. I don't see anything to do with it today, unfortunately. Sorry. Nothing to do on Euro News NZD. Nothing to do on it. Some alts are moving nicely as BTC is kind of stable, so don't waste your time with BTC and trade alts. That could be a very good idea. Absolutely. Alts move. They move a lot. And I don't mind trading alts. Love trading alts. Right now, most of them are bearish. Yeah, I mean, they move. And with this platform, there's many platforms that even if you're in America, you can trade these alts. I use KuCoin. They're not in burst. I don't get paid by them or nothing. But they're a fantastic broker. I've had a lot of fun on their exchange. Their fills are good. Hey champ, what do you think about gold? Let's go look at it. Let's see what it's done. I haven't looked at it in a while. Because once you got that big bullish move, there wasn't anything else to do with it. It's just been pulling back for a long time. All right, so we're back into that trap. So gold looks like it's getting beat down. So the gains that it made, it's losing them. Just see if this area holds a support. All this was set up as a as an example, a learning event, a teachable event. So let's get rid of it. Come on. There we go. I don't like this, but that is support. Just never mind the word new there. It is support. So see if it holds here. If you close the daily below that, your next region of support is over here. Well, actually, it would be there because that's the trap candle. So I would use that support first. So here's your two near-term support levels on gold. If it's going to hold, if it's going to turn around and be bullish again, then right here is a good spot for it to do so. Yeah, I mean, you did not take out that high. So I'm still bullish on gold. See this? That would be my target. It is the old all-time high, though. That's your old all-time high that was formed in August. So you did not hit it. That's why you're getting such a volatile reaction, is because you're so close to that old all-time high. That volume was crazy, man. Absolutely insane. Let's pull it up. Look at this. And it was even worse last week. These are unheard of volumes ever in gold's history. Look at this. Like, that's your old all-time high on the volume. Look at that. Of course that line changes. But you get what I'm saying. That is insane amounts of volume. So it's very, very volatile. But watch daily support. There's nothing there on the weekly, and there's nothing there on the 3-day. Nothing on the 2-week. You're probably 618 retracement. Let's see if you're lower than the 618 retracement from the last 2-week session. I mean, it's going to be bullish on the monthly. I mean, just look at this daily volume. Okay, you see how this candle was so big and bullish, and you see how much volume you had on it? This is sell side volume. This is more selling than buying inside of this volume. And the reason we know that for a fact is because price traded lower immediately after. Immediately after. Very, very, very big volumes here. So this was profit taking. This is when it started to get bullish. That's where you broke out, got the initial breakout, and then just volumes on top of volumes on top of volumes of trades taking place. And then boom, almost hit the all-time high, rejection. You're pulling back, look for support. I am still bullish on it. And one could simply do something like this. And if you do, it's going to look more bearish than bullish. It's trying to be. So this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, that's going to be a spot for buying, for retail. You can see how you're stabbing below it. You're into daily support. So let's see if this becomes a trap. Let's see if this candle becomes a trap. If you can't close a daily below 1928.79, I think you could potentially take a bullish entry there or close to there. Would I do it right now? Absolutely not. But, you're trying to get long in front of a lot of bearish momentum. That's a lot of bearish momentum. So just understand that. Let's get rid of the volume. It's done its job. A lot of bearish momentum. You have a new hourly support down here. So if you're going to try to get long, wait to get long there. 1925.83. Make your stop tight. Because you're physically trying to pick the bottom of a potential reversal. But you are in the daily support. So, see what's what. I like it long, right? I like gold higher. We'll see what happens. The market was just pricing in the interest rate hike. Now you're dropping back down, pulling back. As long as that daily support holds, I like it higher. If tomorrow closes lower, like let's say you get this close today, and then tomorrow you get more continuation, then this isn't a trap. You're going to see bearish continuation, and then the next spot you will be waiting for would be this level here. That will be the next support. So if this is a trap, we want to see a bullish engulfing tomorrow. So what you might get at the news is a wick lower, take out the low, and then a big strong move up to take out today's high. So I would wait till tomorrow, but if you want to go ahead and get long, go ahead. It's your risk, right? It's your money, your risk. But you'll potentially be stopped out tomorrow if this holds now, today. Massive, massive volumes. That was insane. It's record. It's a record, right? All right, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. What do you think about Euro CAD? I am long. Let me go look at that, and then I'll wrap it up. Any thoughts on EGLD? Perfect. Thank you for your opinion. Perfect. Matic USDT. All right, let me go ahead and look at Euro CAD. It's been extremely bearish. Of course, that's not a valid symbol. Because of Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar gets strong when oil is rising. And oil was very, very strong. So you can see here you're getting a chop sideways. These are big ranges, by the way. That's a big movement. Big movement. You're range bound for now. It does look like you have a near-term bottom, and down here's daily support. You can potentially watch this if you want to. It might end up being a demand zone. So these two levels is where you're going to be watching to see if you get a daily close above it or below it. Potentially you could see that act as as support, and then ultimately your target's going to be this high because it's the highest one. So this was your liquidation move or capitulation move lower, set in this first move. So that's the target. The near-term bullish target is that. But there's nothing to do today because you see how your range has already expanded. Can the daily range expand more? Yes, but what's the likelihood of it? Look at how big the candle is in comparison to the previous candles. So it's pretty much had its move today. So trying to get long now, it could keep going, but you've already made a nice daily range expansion. So I would leave it alone today. Potentially watch for support down there, right here. That's old resistance, new support, potentially. but it's not going to happen today. It might be tomorrow, or I mean, it could happen today, but that would be a lot more bearish than I would want to see it be to get down there. But if you're looking for this near-term trend to continue, then do what it's doing. Let it pull back, find support, go. Let it pull back, find support, go. Same scenario. Let it pull back and find support, and then look for the go. And you didn't tell me where you're long from, but hopefully you're long from like down here or down here or down here. I hope you didn't just get long. If you just got long, then just get out of that position because you bought the high, right? And then EGLD. Let's go look at it briefly. You didn't say versus anything, so I put it against Tether. And I look at it on KuCoin. You're range bound at the bottom of the range. There's your support zone. Boom, boom. So right now you're coming into a smaller term range. So this is a bigger range, but inside of this bigger range, you have this smaller range. And you're coming into a resistance area. Right there's resistance. So you're literally at resistance. If you want to be a buyer on it, you need it to pull back. You need it to find support. So it found support here. Look where it tested. I mean, there. You tested this demand zone twice. Once on this day, and then on this day. Look at how flawless of an entry. Boom, boom. So now that move is over. It's done. There is no move to make. I don't like the short right here until you get back under that. And you cannot close an hourly back above it. So, all right. So now you see you test the resistance and you pulled back for several hours. Now you're getting another expansion. So if you're looking for short side sets, you need to wait until you have a bearish candle. Snipe that candle's low. So you need a bearish candle to come down, take out this candle's low. If you're looking for shorts at resistance, which is a good idea in a range, but you have to before you take it. So watch this candle's low. If you get a bearish push lower, then you'll be watching wherever this candle closes for your potential bearish entry. Low of day is way down here. This is the low of day unless it changed. Well, time went up an hour, so I don't know if it's 1700 or 1900. If it's 1700 is now the new close, then this is your low of day. So you're definitely shorting the highs. But it's very bullish, so do not just get short expecting that to happen. You must let price say, yeah, I think I'm going to go lower here. And in order for that to take place, 150.39's got to be taken out before you can even think about looking for a short entry. And that's that. And then the last one, Matic USDT. Polygon. Polygamy. Polygamy. It's not, let's see, before I say it's not as bearish as other things, let me see. It's down 56%, so it's in line with Bitcoin. These are obviously old levels, so we get rid of them. Bow, bow. See ya. See you later. You've taken out the low end of support every time you've made it. So that was support, then you broke it, then this became support. You just broke it 3 days ago. So you're bearish. Matic is bearish. Matic is more bearish than other things, or than what we just looked at, than EGLD at least. EGLD is testing the top end of its range. This thing is not only testing the low end of the range, it's making a newer lower end of the range. So it's bearish. I wouldn't be looking to be a buyer of it yet. It hasn't done anything to signify that it has found a bottom. So trying to get long is picking a bottom right now. If you think it's going to turn around, which you shouldn't think it's going to turn around, because literally for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you've been trending away from what used to be support. That is bearish. It's not bullish. If anything, getting short at this region would be in order. So wait to see if it finds support. This is your new support until a daily closes below it, right here. I understand that you're trading under it right now, but that's the way this thing works. This is going to be support unless this candle closes under it. If this candle closes under it, then you're still trending lower, and you'll be watching here for potential short entries, right? So I wouldn't try to get long right now. I would wait to see where this daily candle closes, as if it does close back above support, then maybe you can try to get long. Watch around 135, because if it is support now, then, or resistance now, old support, but price is under it. If you get back above it, maybe it respects it moving on, and you finally get that trend reversal. But you can clearly see this thing is bearish. I mean, this is multiple days. To me, you only need to go back 3 days and you have a trend. 3 days gives you a trend direction. But for a long time, this thing has been going down. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That means look for the range, the top end of the range is to get short. So yeah, something like that. That's disgusting, but it is what it is. All right, guys. You guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comment section below, as I do try to answer every single one of them. And you make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading.